Alexandra pulls out the last of the old yellow notebooks as she waits for the nurse to call her in this kingdom of softly whirring machines. She glances, pen poised, at the pink waiting room wall. It's the same color as the watermelon she remembers from her childhood. White cake drenched in watermelon syrup. So sweet it made your teeth hurt. It made her think of her Oma's garden in Bloom Nort, in southern Russia. Oma's barn was so often filled with huge piles of watermelons, as well as baskets of apples and pears. Every summer, she and her brothers celebrated the first juicy red pieces of watermelon with seed-spitting contests. Alexandra touches her chin. How clear her memory is of the feel of watermelon juice running down it. How clear all the memories are from those last few years before they had to leave. She was still so young when they left Russia for Canada, just 9, and her childish memories have mostly retained the beauty of the land. But, like most things, there's another, darker side. She writes down, watermelon syrup, summer, 1919. This is the event that started everything tumbling. She looks around the waiting room, her hand trembling, and writes. The whole house drenched in syrup, the pottery smashed, bags of flour ripped open, Mama's skirts stuck to the floor. She didn't see any of that awfulness. She was only 3 then, but she knows it. She didn't see any of it because she was hiding in the barn. Willie's written words, God bless him, are what she remembers. It's through Willie's eyes that she sees those terrible moments. Willie was always the writer in the family, his notebook full of their life in Russia and their journey to Canada. She was 17 when she read it, but she remembers the words still. Willie's words had been so shocking. The summer of 1919, when the anarchists raided their beautiful homes and Mama was... She lifts her pen from the paper. They had been quite well off. It had been such a hardship to lose it all. How had they survived all that chaos? White Army, Red Army, Black Army, Bolsheviks, anarchists, robbers, tsarists, Makhno. All these names and the terror that comes with them running around in her head still, after all these years. All that fighting, and then the famine of 1921. Those few years after the famine were the years in Russia that she remembers best. The years of watermelon syrup and plenty. But then there was the abolition of religion that had finally driven her family out of Russia. She knows all that with her head, but not her heart. If she's going to tell her story, she must start with what matters most to her. So, how to start? Coming to Canada? Their struggle to settle in this strange and lonely land. Papa not able to make a living as a farmer, losing the house and the land. It all seemed so hopeless until he was given his teaching job, and they moved into that shack of a house 1.5 miles out of town. They were so isolated. Mama was so unhappy. And then the Depression. The Depression had almost broken them. The Mennonites who had come to Canada in the 1800s were of peasant stock. They had been poor forever. They suffered the Depression so much more robustly. But those that came in 1925, they were softer, more educated, used to an easier life. Could she write about that? Did she want to? Was that her story? Alexandra lets her pen fall into the center of the open notebook and laces her arthritic fingers together. No, it all feels more like Willie's story. And then she remembers the last line in Willie's notebook, written in his flowing handwriting. After all, she's only a girl. It makes her heart race still. Even though she and Willie had talked about it many times afterwards, and Willie had apologized for having written it, still those words existed, and they had hurt so deeply. Well, if those were the last words in Willie's notebook, they would be the first words in hers.